What's
So
wrong?
guess what I found out?
What?
Swords of Ditto. Local co-op only.
All right, I'll come over in 5 minutes.
Alright, cool, thanks. Just gonna quickly delete this.
All right. Good job, everybody. Do you have Destiny 2 downloaded?
Unfortunately.
Do you want to try that?
Mark was also interested, so I was thinking the three of us should start that together.
Okay, we can do that. Do you want to do that tomorrow night or tonight?
If I could ever find out when this motherfucker was free, then yes, but
Okay.
for now, I don't know what to do.
All right. I'm gonna put my PS4 in rest mode. You're gonna and open up Parsec.
Well, do you want to try something else? Do you want to try it? Do you have Dead by Daylight downloaded?
I don't think so.
Why?
Is that the fucking Minecraft zombie game?
What? No. What?
Oh, I don't know what Dead by Daylight is.
Minecraft with some? What the fuck are you talking about?
What was that weird fucking game we played with Mark that day?
What are you talking?
It was like
Give me more descriptions.
It was like we dropped off at different parts of the map, and like we had to escape zombies, but we were trying to meet each other the entire time, and like
7 Days to Die.
Yeah,
it's like I know I got mad at you, but it's Minecraft with zombies is weirdly an okay way to describe that. Except when I think Minecraft, I don't think crafting. I think blocks. So that's a weird.
Yeah,
you could have just said, "Is that zombie game with crafting?"
I mean, that could have been The Last of Us.
I mean, maybe. No, Dead by Daylight's the imagine it's the game that basically this is not by any means confirmed, but from what I heard, rumors. I don't know if this was true. I have not confirmed this. They announced the Friday the 13th game, and then someone else was like, "Oh, we could do that, but without." It's not. It's a fucking PlayStation Plus. You don't have to sign into me.
Oh.
But they basically were like, "Oh, the Friday the 13th game? That sounds great. We're gonna do that without Jason," and basically put it out like a year before the Friday the 13th game came out. It's the one where it's like fucking. There's like 4 or 5 people. You gotta start some generators and run away from a murderer.
Okay.
I have no interest in it, but it's on.
I also have no interest in it.
So it's something.
We
We can play Fortnite, bruh.
I'm down if you're down.
No, I'm not. Do you actually have interest in Fortnite?
It's a fad that I'm interested in why it's so big, despite not really understanding why it's so big. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's sort of. But I don't really get it.
Free games to play.
We can play Spider-Man. Just kidding.
I don't think you you truly understand
your hype.
Yeah, it is. I'm terrified now of my hype.
From what I'm gonna assume it's gonna be like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War in that it's a 9. It's a solid 9, but it doesn't take any risks.
From what I read, from the people I read about, like who gave opinions, I was like interested in their opinion. I was like, all right, I'm looking to enjoy it. It's open world. It's Spider-Man. Like it's already got me hooked in. It's got me in the basis of it, right? It doesn't have me.
Someone didn't play Amazing Spider-Man on PS3.
True. But I mean, like, it's not like Amazing Spider-Man is a terrible game, but like people think it's kind of okay because like the Spider-Man license can carry you, like it can carry a bit because you're just like, oh, at least it's Spider-Man, right?
I don't know.
I do not have this game.
What kind of monster doesn't just like check off all the PlayStation Plus games of a month, regardless if you have any plan to play them? It's free. I don't know. Just fucking grab them. Like
I don't know. For some reason, I just don't, and I refuse to be spoken to in this method.
We got Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare 2.
I don't have that downloaded.
Despite me telling you to download it twice now.
I worked that day.
Oh, that's weird. You pulled a 24-hour shift? I'm sorry, man.
I actually pulled a 48-hour shift.
Oh, really? And you went back in your apartment at once?
Yeah, it was for the 2 times I saw the mouse, and then I evacuated my apartment so facilities could clean it.
So what it sounds like is,
I haven't been in my apartment for the last couple of days.
it actually sounds more like some personal problems,
Oh yes.
and you really shouldn't bring that into work with you here. So,
Oh, I bring my personal problems into work all the time. I told them like you should renovate my apartment.
and they were like, "What?"
We'll look at it in the budget. I'm like, yeah, you will.
All right, let's see if we can get Parsec to work again.
Should be fun on my brand new computer. Well, not really. But...
Maybe one day I'll Parsec to your computer.
What? So that way you can
Watch you play.
me
What?
Infamous.
How are you gonna play Infamous on your computer?
I was just gonna use the whatchamacallit, the thingamaboober I have.
The capture device you've used not once, not a single time.
No, I've used it multiple times. It's just I have not used it since I've stopped using it.
Oh, good. Thanks. You should really go into politics?
I'm too smart for that.
That's not true. You could have said I'm too pretty. That would have been a better one.
Oh, I already used the too pretty excuse this weekend to not listen to the new Eminem album.
What? Why not?
Because 1, he's garbage, and 2, he's garbage. Wait, what? Oh, there we go.
You good?
Yeah, for some reason I can hear myself.
Why does this always happen with Parsec?
Oh no! Oh,
I think it's on my side. Hold on. Why does Parsec have its own goddamn audio? Alright, try talking.
What up? I can't hear myself now.
Yeah, it is Parsec. In this like weird, scary
Oh, there we go.
thing. So, I got some games. I got a lot of games.
Some could say you have games.
No one would say that.
God, I sweated up a storm today. It was fucking hot.
I've been inside in the AC.
You're lucky. I was walking around New York City and I sweated through my interview shirt, and that felt terrible.
How did your interview go?
I think it went pretty well. I knew a couple of the people interviewing me.
Oh shit! How do you know them?
We went to grad school together. And so they were already cackling like, ha ha, my man, how's it going? I'm like, trying to get these bills, ha ha. And then, yeah, we did the interview. So we'll see.
That's good. I've got fuck all ideas what to play.
Whatchamacallit? DSX?
I don't know. Why don't I haven't started Jack 3. Do you got rants on Jack 3?
No, I ain't got nothing on Jack 3.
What good are you? Like what?
We're going to talk about how was the Mad Max game before Mad Max? That's all I got.
Oh, maybe we can do this because I could never get you to do this otherwise. We could play Danganronpa. This is the only way you would ever experience Danganronpa.
I started it and then I put it down and I have not gone back to it.
On what system?
On the PS4.
What? So, how far did you get? Like 5 minutes?
I got like an hour and a half in.
Did you get to the first trial?
I think I stopped before that.
That's
My eyes hurt too much that night. I remember I just went to bed and then I woke up and I was like,
I honestly hate when shit like this happens to you, where it's like something out of the game's control. It's not really the game's fault. Happens with you, and you're like, well, I guess I got to write off the game because my eyes hurt that night.
No.
That's the kind of bullshit that you do.
I was just like, damn, this is a lot of reading. I was not prepared for it. Like, this is a me issue. This is not a game issue. I'm not going to say if it's good or bad.
Please go back to it, though.
Yeah, I'll give it another try another night.
Or we could do it right now.
No, fuck that shit. I'm not trying to read. Fuck that reading shit. My mama says it puts demons in your head.
I know for a fact that Yuriza has never said that.
This is true. Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
All right, let's do it.
Really?
What else did we fucking do?
I don't know.
We've yet to find a good game for this. We have the technology. We waited years for this technology, and we have not used it even remotely well.
We were crack-a-lacking with Deus Ex other than the time you forgot to record.
I mean, we can go back to it if you want. I've had nothing against Deus Ex. Just not really in the mood to play like a stealth game.
No worries. We can do GTA Vice City. I don't remember anything about it other than like the neon lights.
I barely played this game as a kid, which sounds weird to say about a game like Grand Theft Auto. As a child, I barely played this game about murder and sex.
I did not play any of the story missions.
I played the first couple missions a lot. I know the loading screen used to be really, really long, so seeing it like fucking blaze through here is kind of interesting.
I'm like, whoa. This used to be I'd eat a bowl of cereal, watch a YouTube video, and then like, oh, now the game's ready to go.
I'm gonna level with you. I'm willing to bet it doesn't hold up well. But that in itself creates comedy.
I'm willing to level that it might be a perfect game.
You're what?
I'm joking.
My favorite thing about GTA, like all of these games, is that every time I watch someone try and go back to GTA San Andreas, they fucking hate it. Like, the game aged horribly. Some of the missions in that game are just straight up bullshit.
Yep.
I like the levity in my game about a mafia, where you can literally see a dead dude hanging on a hook in a meat freezer that's open for some reason.
I think Mafia 2 did this a lot better, but that's me.
It also happened after this game, so I'm sure.
I know, I'm joking.
Sure
Mafia 2 is really fucking good, but Mafia 2 is also really bad at some other parts.
I couldn't get into Mafia 2, which made me not want to get into Mafia 3.
Mafia 3 is really not similar to Mafia 2, but they're both open world. Is like, and they have one character that returns, but otherwise, like, I don't think they really mechanically share anything.
So, there's no subtitles, and this is very low, so I'm going to try to skip that.
No worries.
I was going to say is, I heard of a new exercise. It's supposed to be an improv exercise, but I couldn't think of someone who would be better at it than you. Basically, someone picks a random topic, and you have to go on a rant on why that topic is bad or how much you hate it. Come on, you know damn well that's your fucking specialty.
I'm trying to portray a more positive image in 2018. You know, I'm trying to be a better Carlos.
All right, let me try and think of a good one.
Remember when the fucking acceleration button was X?
I actually prefer it when it's like that sometimes. It depends.
Depends if I'm using a PS2 controller or if I'm using
And one later than that, yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm just like, put it on the fucking trigger, my dude.
So, I'm going to give you a random one, okay?
Alright.
Tell me your thoughts on Wendy's.
Wendy's... I don't really have that strong of opinion on Wendy's. It's pretty good. Like,
You're just like immediately fucked up the exercise. The point is that you're supposed to create things. Why would you do this to me?
Because I'm trying to be. Because I'm not gonna let you put me in a box, Nicholas. I'm trying to be better than that. I'm trying to.
I was literally gonna let you hand it back off to me after you did it once. Like, I don't
want me to rain on something. I'll rain on this bitch. I don't think I should be put in a box with my anger issues. You know, I just hate things. That's how I live, and it's okay. Wendy's, it sucks. Let's keep it real. I'm sorry, I lied to you. Wendy's sucks because like. It's not salty enough. Their fresh meat ain't really that great. Like, I don't care. It's not good enough for Five Guys where I'm like, ooh, this is fresh and tastes good. And it's not shitty enough for the price range that I accept it to be at. It doesn't commit to anything. It's someone who's just having sex with multiple people and doesn't want to commit. That's what Wendy's is.
Can I add to Wendy's bullshit? They tout the fresh, never frozen beef. It's like, if your beef is so goddamn fresh, why is every goddamn patty a square? Have you ever made burgers? Do you know how hard it is to make the patty a goddamn square?
That's a good question.
It's not natural. You like the way you pat it is like you go back and forth, and that's why it makes that goddamn shape. So the fact that they're all square means I don't care how fresh it is, you're getting it very suspiciously.
It also still tastes fucking kind of dry, but maybe that's just my experience. And they love their mustard over there. They love that shit. No, no, no. Excuse me, I do not like mustard or mayo because I'm not a racist.
Oh wait, that's something we can talk about.
Mayo?
Yeah,
Or mustard?
mayo, because mayo's been in the news lately. Because Mayo signed on Colin Kaepernick, and that's a topic worth discussing.
I'm glad you recognize this.
Do you have any questions for me? You haven't really brought up the issue.
Well, how do you feel about this whole Nike thing, Nicholas?
Why would it matter how I think?
Because you white.
Is that all? We're not going to talk
You
about
white.
how 75% of my wardrobe is Nike.
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't think the viewers know that.
They've seen me stream a couple times. They probably figured it out. They probably pieced it together.
I doubt it.
Carlos, insulting the intelligence of our viewers.
You know me, I hate the viewers.
Every time you see me do this camera angle, it's because I'm holding L2 and R2. and
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Square and X for reverse and accelerates, by the way.
It also lags a little behind you, so like, all of a sudden it'll be laggy and then just jump 8 screens. I'm like, whoa, 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 how's he going so fast?
So, what was I going to say?
I actually, before you say what you're going to say, and I'll bring up what
No,
I...
you can go first.
Because we're going to talk about the gameplay, we've spoken about it before, about my weird nostalgia about, like, these open worlds in PS2 games. Like, I understand that they didn't have the architect, like, the PS2 didn't have the power, like, to make these really fully lived-in spaces. But there's something about the shitty squariness of it all that allows my like imagination to just like start putting things in places. And for some reason, I like get more immersed than I would in like. I'm trying to think of a shitty open world game I played recently.
You have this weird, bizarre, I'd go so far as to say wrong, opinion that like older GTA games feel more lived in and more fulfilled than newer GTA games.
But I think that's my imagination of just.
It is absolutely your imagination,
it
which
just
is not a
makes-
viable like complaint.
True, but like I mean, sometimes art is weird. Sometimes you connect with art, sometimes you don't. But like, they were the thing with these games. It was they couldn't make an actual person, right? So they had to make something like an approximation of it, and then your mind would just fill in the gaps of it, and like then you'd be like, oh, cool, that's what it is. But they were like GTA 5. It was more like I could see what they were going for so much to the point, but instead of like filling in the gaps, I was looking at them like, well, you missed this, and you missed that, and you missed this, and so it kind of just put up the buffer of like this is a virtual world, and like cool. But these ones, I was just like, damn dog, they really nailed this neon feel in Miami in 1980s.
I'm just like, how can you're like one of the?
I don't know. I know I'm in the minority on this, and I understand. It is some weird nostalgia shit. Like other people are really into 2D.
Like, what do you
2D.
like? What do you want to happen with video games? Do you not want them to progress back graphics because it's just gonna make everything look weird? Would you rather they just like this was the peak? They kept it there so that the imagination was forced.
Not like that, but more. I wish. It's like
Oh my
I've gone
God.
back.
Ugh.
I've gone back to play older FIFAs. Like with my PS4. For those who don't know, like it wasn't connecting to the Wi-Fi, and because the Ethernet in my apartment was down, so I had to like call IT. But I was playing older versions of FIFA, and I was just like, now that I'm looking at this shit, dog, the fuck were y'all thinking? Shoulders don't look like that. That's not how shoulders operate. Necks don't move that way. But like at the time, I really enjoyed it. And again, like this game kind of has that same issue. But then I kind of like something like Wind Waker, where like it's so cartoony that I'm like,
Well, that's different because
Yeah.
that's a particular art style. These were like realistic for the time.
yeah. And I kind of wish more and more like studios kind of recognize like it'll save money on an HD remaster.
Right.
In a sense, like if we just make this more artful and colorful, and people will remember it. Like I look at
I don't know if that
the
would save money at all. I think creating like an artful and like kind of style like that would cost a lot more money, and they'd actually have to work on the game. Whereas this, they just up-res it and then fucking slap it and go, hey, $15, let's go.
but I mean more like you wouldn't have to hire as many people as you would like to create like a fully functioning world.
I don't
like
think that's true. I think what you're saying, I mean, Wind Waker, a lot of work was put into, and I think that shows. And
but
it's like a very specific style too.
The Wind Waker, like to make something like Wind Waker, takes less people than it does to make like something like GTA San Andreas. Like we know that.
Yes, but to remake it from the ground up,
true, but
that would be a colossal undertaking to include everything from a GTA game, but in a new art style. That would require far more than it would to just remaster it.
I'm saying to do it before anything else, and then to just like, I'm not saying like they need to change the art style when they remaster it. I'm just saying like we need to, as a whole, maybe give up this whole realism thing in video games, because like either way, it's gonna look fucking weird in a couple of years, and then you're gonna be like,
I find it really strange that you think we can't have both.
I just don't really like. I don't know. There's very few games that actually do it well. Like even the Spider-Man game, despite all the people freaking out about the fucking puddle, to me it was always just like, why didn't they just like go for a more cell shaded like version of this instead of trying to make it kind of realistic?
I mean, you are very much in the minority here.
Yeah, I know. I'm fully recognizing that, but like, I just realism is just because when I go back to it in later years, I'm always gonna be like, this did not look as pretty as it once did.
But they're not selling it later years. They're selling it now. That's why
True.
it works. That's why it worked for Vice City. That's why it's going to work in the future. It's just you're selling for the current generation.
I think Vice City, unlike 5, has a feel, look, and like you remember what it's about.
Anytime you say you remember, it's like, no, that's nostalgia. Stop.
No. But like you remember the central themes of what their art style looked like, right? It was 80s, neon lights, hair metal, all that fucking like.
Well, then how would you possibly do that in like for something based in the mid teens? Is there like a style to go along with that? Like the 80s. If the 80s was neon, then
you'd have to condense it to what would that like. Again, this is the challenge. You'd have to figure out, okay, what is going on currently now, to condense that into a game.
But then
even GTA 5, I say, is terrible at that. But.
My argument to that would be that they had it a little easier because they created this game, in the fucking early 2000s? There have been 2 decades to figure out what collective we decided represented the 80s. You can't do that in real time because it's still happening. Like they didn't. Yeah, they drew on their inspiration from the 80s, not just from games from the 80s, 'cause that didn't exist. They drew it from like movies and pop culture. And again, doing that in real time would be impossible.
I don't think so.
I do think so.
I think that is malarkey. Because you then have to condense what your vision of what is today and what is society, and then you actually have to make an argument for it.
I mean, I think they did it.
Most games, I think, do very poor
with the story thematically. I mean, whether they did it well or not, they made an attempt. But like for a visual style, that's not like the visual style is just realism. That's what the visual style for this current gen is. And we finally hit the plateau where it's like it's not really going to start looking much better. Like it will, like smaller, finer details, but for the most part, you've kind of hit that point where it's like, 10 years from now, it's not going to look that much more amazing. Because it's just like we're really approaching on it looking realistic.
And then I just ask her, like, what is the point of it? Like, is it supposed to be a product seller, or is it supposed to be actually art? And then that's
product
a whole
seller, obviously. Very obviously.
Then, like, why do we discuss it like it's art?
Because according to your definition, everything is arts.
I don't actually believe everything is art.
You have repeatedly struck down arguments I've said by saying everything is art. You don't get to pick and choose your goddamn stances.
No, I think at a certain point we need to negotiate, like, is something a product now or something actually art?
I hate you so much. I have literally said some things aren't art, they're just products, and you've been like, no, everything is art. You are a wishy-washy motherfucker. Stick to your goddamn own arguments.
I've never said to that argument. Sometimes I'll argue, oh, it's art, it's confusing, or we can deconstruct it. But sometimes also
you literally just don't want to be in agreement with anything. You're just like, no. You're going to assert your own point. If there's a different opinion, well, I just disagree. Regardless of any facts, any other like contributing evidence, you're just like, no. This is what I think. I'm going to stick with this thought. I'm Carlos Lopes. I don't change my mind.
If you want to sound off in the comment section and point out to a time that I'm disagreeing with, feel free, because I think we recorded enough of these.
That's what I mean, where it's like, I've done this so often, I can't pick a specific example.
I'm going to need them to pick a specific example, then I'll listen to it.
I'm going to try.
I remember approximating around certain issues like that, where I'm like, that ain't it, dog. And sometimes I am, that is it, dog. But
can you at least admit sometimes that... So okay, let's just move forward then. Since in the world of Carlos Lopes, the past doesn't exist. Can we just...
Past is relative.
Can we just say that at this point, some games aren't trying to be art. They're trying to move units.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you qualify games that are like that?
The death of art.
No, I mean, what would you... Like, which games would you say are doing that? Like... For some specific examples.
GTA 5.
I'd go with that, yeah. I think GTA 5 is very much just, as fun as... I like GTA 5, but I can definitely say it's not like... They're not trying to like get across a vision or a point.
God of War.
I disagree. I think it's both, but I think they definitely had an artistic vision and they went with it. I don't think that one, to me, the realism, it's like, it's still moderately fantasy.
I think, well, I'd say actually like 99% of AAA games, like even Uncharted Last of Us.
We've talked about this before, though. Like, they have to do that, though.
True, and then I'm also like, how much is it our fault as the consumers?
I'd say a pretty sizable amount. It's about 50-50.
What are we doing to, like, stop it? And I think that's the biggest challenge. But I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, and I know that we're recording, and this is completely unprofessional, but you know me, and I know you can fill dead air. So I'm gonna go drop this shit off real quick. I'll yell from the bathroom about my shits. Thank you. Please stay tuned. You should put an intermission sign while I take this dump.
I'll think about that.
Peace. I have shat.
Thanks for that.
Speaking of shitting, want to know one of my biggest fears in life?
Always.
My biggest fear is like one night going out to the bar and whatnot. That's the time I have to shit at like 2 a.m. in the bar with the clogged, fucked up toilet. I'm like, this is the only toilet I can get to right now. That is my biggest fear in life. That like I'll have to at one point like squat over like a dysfunctional toilet and just drop the kids off.
Can you not hold it?
In this scenario, I am unable to hold it.
I mean, like, what is your
what is my fear of this?
No, what is your range? Like, on the worst shits, how far in advance can you tell when you have to? Like, what's your timer?
Like, I can generally hold it for like 4 hours, right?
Yes.
So
I feel like you should fucking duck out at that point then.
Yeah. But I'm saying this is like every once in a while you get like the diarrhea shit that's like it caught you from nowhere and you're like, oh no, it's about to go down. Like I'm talking like it's that like you ate something wrong.
Like you're just standing there and all of a sudden you just hear a Metal Gear sound like didn't it? Like oh,
yeah,
no.
You're just like oh no, oh god, help me.
Do you know what I love about this game about stealing cars?
What?
How there's only ever like 2 cars on screen at the same time.
No, I gotta love the PS2. The one thing I need
this.
The one thing I do wish like one sad thing about the push for greater graphics, like as cool as everything has looked, right? And I know like we just spoke about this, but I do kind of wish like we kind of tapped out of PS2 graphics, but instead like started giving it more power to do more things. So like maybe the game looks like crap, but it can do like insane things where for some reason now in this game you can build you can build and watch time change instead of like, all right, dog, we're making a bigger staff so that way the game looks better. Like,
here's another argument I have for that. I know that some AAA devs,
but again, that won't sell. That would not sell.
Well, I know that AAA devs have definitely prioritized graphics over gameplay far too much. Where it's like a story will be written in 6 months, then it'll take 3 years to fucking do the graphics and stuff. And I think that's an unfair balance. But at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge that the better graphics get, the easier it is to include new consumers as well.
True, and I understand that, but
like
also
people
like
who are just like, I would never play a PS2 game that looked like that, but then they see fucking Uncharted and they're like, oh, it's like just like a movie. Let me try that.
Yeah, like another aspect is like.
Also, that's another point. You love Uncharted. How would Uncharted look if it was just like?
I understand. This is like one. I love Uncharted 4. Right, it is one of my favorite games of all time, and that game looks fucking insanely realistic. You can see the fucking sunshine through his ear at points in the game. But I'd trade it for like. I'd trade that look away if it gave me something a bit less realistic but more artistic in a sense.
I mean, this is my other thing is that this like you can have both of these things.
I know you can't.
Yes, you can.
I'm putting up a very real dichotomy.
No.
Very real.
That's the glory of video games, is that you can have multiple. You can have Picasso and you can have Warhol. It's amazing.
I understand. It's also like another side beef of mine is more like.
What so it sounds like. It just sounds like to me.
This is the me thing. This is the me thing.
No, for you personally, I mean, it's like there aren't enough games appealing to you, and it's like that's fine, but frame it that way. Don't be like the gaming industry as a whole needs to change because my tastes aren't being met.
No, I think they need to change from my taste. Like,
I don't. But you're the minority.
Yeah, I'm fully aware.
So they don't need to change to yours. They just need to branch out. But they don't
Same
need
thing.
No. Branch out implies minor resources and other like You're saying the entire industry, everyone needs to cater to Carlos Lopes.
Yeah,
and I know you might believe that,
I'm
but it doesn't make it true.
Person, so I don't understand. Like I don't even understand your point right now. Damn, you fucked that man up. What was I gonna say? Another annoyance of mine. Like I wish there were indie developers who could make like a GTA Vice City instead of like it doesn't. One of my minor annoyances with indie developers is they just want to fucking make. But again, I understand it's like one dude generally making these games.
Hold on, before you even say what you're about to say, you're definitely about to cast a very wide net and say.
Oh yeah, we're fucking.
You know what I think part of this is? You not keeping your ear to the ground on more games that are coming out.
No, I see a bunch of games coming out. I keep up with the releases. I read the blogs. I'm in the people.
What? Hold on. Let me put a different.
I listen to Waypoint every day.
Let me put a different spin on this. What kind of a game are you looking to play? And I mean like mechanically, like as a function, like RPG, action adventure, open world like GTA. Like what kind of game are you looking for? What is the Carlos Lopes dream game?
What I'm looking for is like ideally it'd be because I don't think a big studio would ever make it. Would be someone modding like a GTA Vice City or something, and then making it into a smaller story focused game with that real world. So like maybe instead of shooting now, whatchamacallit, you're a delivery boy, and as the story unfolds, things escalate and whatnot. But like, I would want to use the mechanics in those games to something else, like that. I know.
Can you back that up? I was running away.
I would want to use like something like Vice City, right?
So you want an open world,
but I don't want it to do open world crime. I would want it like, and I think only indies could really do it. Like use an open, like a small PS2 open world to do something different, like you driving around town and doing minor tasks and whatnot as you're a family man or some shit. I don't know. They'd come up with some weird, cool mechanics, but I want to do something.
And you want PS2 level graphics.
Yes, as oddly as it sounds.
With PS4 level mechanical limitation. No.
I don't think you need to do PS4 mechanical like the PS4 stuff. I think
literally said earlier you wish that you could like have like the objects on screen of a PS4 with the graphics of a PS2.
Yeah, but that's like an ideal, like that's what I want the marketplace to do as a whole. But I know that can't. Like,
no, I don't. Yeah, I don't want it to do that. How about that? Yeah, I'm a different person. And I think that better. I don't think that these are the graphics we should start for.
But my argument was more that like I saw that as a method of one, keeping costs down for developers, and also like keeping people keeping the same systems for longer periods of time instead of like every set. Like I understand that we as a society are going to move forward, and like that's cool with me. I just think like maybe we need to start looking at like a sustainable method of this, because I don't think this is good for the environment, like the actual environment, and like people as a whole. Like maybe we should figure out of like, hey y'all, you know what? Let's just kind of keep it around here only for this like sustainability of our actual environment.
I don't. Because like that's a lot to unpack and it's straight away from the question that I asked, so I'm just not going to acknowledge it.
That's more of an environmental issue.
I'm going to treat you like a politician interview should be, and I'm going to have you go back to the question I asked, which was, so you're looking for an open world game, PS2 graphics, like GTA style, but without GTA. So it's not based on crime. It's based on just like something else. You don't know, indiscriminate. Maybe you're a delivery boy. Maybe just about city life.
For a comparison. So you know how awesome BioShock is, and how like in like System Shock 2 and all that, like all those.
I'm in the minority that doesn't like BioShock, so.
Yeah, but the one aspect most people all agree on is like the environmental storytelling of that game.
What do you mean? Like the picking up the logs, or like it's show rather than tell? Like a lot of the stuff you find by like walking around.
Yeah,
which is the exact reason you didn't like Gone Home.
No, that's why I do like Gone Home. Like that's the one thing I enjoyed like walking around a house discovering shit.
Despite it meaning that you could potentially miss out on the actual story just from lack of information.
But I think that's an issue of like, it's like fucking when you make noise rock music. Like there's gonna be people who just do not like it, and actually, it's like, all right.
Let me format that a different way. Would you rather you discovered something because you went down a hallway that you just happened to find, or would you rather like the game kind of like walkways it for you, where it's like, oh, pick up this key, and right next to that key there's like a piece of paper that talks about this? Or would you rather it was just like, okay, go to this door, and then instead you go to a different door and you find it? Would you rather you stumbled upon it and you were like, oh, that's pretty cool, or would you rather the game like forced it to you?
It depends on the story being like, I understand like what you mean, but like there's like Dead Space, right? That game's awesome, but like the first time playing it, you're not going to get every single audio log, but you'll get enough logs that like you can come to your own conclusions and also go online and discuss with people, right? While like Gone Home, I think that's kind of a game telling a story that you kind of need to railroad people a little bit, only because like I'm telling you a really short story in a really short time, and to miss any story detail, you will miss conclusive elements of that story. So does that make sense?
Sort of, but not really.
It's like, all right. So Gone Home, the main focus of that story is like the only thing you can do is that story, right? And like the importance of Gone Home is making you feel like you're discovering something that's like actually just right there. While Dead Space is like, I'm here to kill monsters, and then I'm also discovering the story. And if I don't go and find out everything, that's like on me. That's not really on the developers, because like they can still make it plain and obvious and whatnot. But also like my main focus in that game is to do this other activity that just so happens to also take up that space. So I'd want like for like something like an open world game.
Hold on. Can we just point out that in Grand Theft Auto, I got assigned a mission. I step outside, a car literally ran over, murdered a man. I pick up his weapon and just fucking take off in the car that ran over him. That's this game. This is what I didn't like about Grand Theft Auto. was the like goofiness, but not fully acknowledging it of it.
Yeah, that's one thing. But also, I think that kind of played it for laughs. But
I like get me back
yeah,
to Grand Theft Auto 4, please. Like I want that level of Grand Theft Auto storytelling.
like I wish more games, more open world games, like had the quiet moments, like in Uncharted, or in aspect like in GTA 4. I love like I think it's after the whatchamacallit, you meet the dude at the airport that you've been hunting for the majority of the game. And then once you drop off Roman, like for a couple minutes, there's no like mission icons on the screen, so you kind of just drive around waiting for shit to populate again. And I know like Shenmue does that to like an annoying degree, where it's like you have to wait till 3 o'clock today to do this shit, and that's all you have to do, and then you have to go to bed, and then you wake up and do something else. Like I think you could do something like that, but I think there's a happy medium somewhere in there.
Anyway, back to your thing about Gone Home. So you would rather it was on the fault of the person for not discovering something, rather than the game for putting it in obscure. Like, do you must agree that there should be like a balance, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like you can't put like
Yeah.
a crucial plot point hidden behind a rock somewhere way off the beaten path. But it should but at the same time, I don't want it like shoved down. Like,
You have to make the person feel smarter than they actually are.
Yeah, so I have a real example of this that was just in like Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI, like the other Dragon Quest games, lets you examine bookcases, and sometimes they have stuff you need like recipes and stuff, and sometimes they'll just have like background to the game, which is cool. Sometimes that betrays them. Like I was in one of the first cities, which is gorgeous, huge, great. Basically just exploring the whole town. The whole reason I was exploring the town was I was like, this king, because it's like the first one, it's like, oh, you know, you're a special person, you have to go see the king. I was like, this king is going to betray the fuck out of us, and we're not going to be allowed back in this city. I see it telegraphed, I can feel it, so I explored every little bit, because I fully expected not to be able to come back. And what I didn't like, and I saw something, because it's in something that was already too foreshadowed, I found something in a bookcase that goes, there are dungeons, there are said to be dungeons under the keep, and there's special places that people could never escape from. And I'm just like, why on earth would you mention that unless you're about to throw me in these damn dungeons? Like, is this cute? Like, it's already like all over the goddamn walls. There's that, and then there's like there's other things where it's like I might find something like early, or I might find something about a character, and it'll be like, oh, you know, here's this character in your party, and it's like, you can read up on them. And it's like, oh, they're a famous like jester and something like that, and you know, they've been moving from town to town, and or it can even like explain something about like their backstory, where it's like this tragedy struck them, and it's like something like that. It's like it would be really cool to discover that like in a book, and something that's like, oh, they don't want to talk about it, but then you can find out about it. You as the player can find out about it, and then, but then like a cutscene later, they'll immediately tell you all about it. It's like, then what was the point of the book? Like, I think for stuff like that, I do enjoy it. I love lore building. I love stuff like that. But you've gotta find something in between.
Yeah, I agree. Like at a certain point, but also like it does stop me from being upset with whatchamacallit, with games, only because I'm like, I realize that you're only hitting me over the head just to make sure I get it, which is like an issue of subtlety.
I just think like subtlety can be done better sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I realize that I'm a pretty smart dude, not to brag, pretty up there intelligence-wise, and that not everyone may be. So they gotta, you know, make sure that it's there for Johnny 80 IQ, make sure he can understand the game too. But at the same time, I feel like you should be allowed to kind of do both, where it's like, leave the clues for those who want more, and where they can like really discover it, but also like give enough where it's like someone who's maybe not that as interested will still be there.
Yeah. But I think like to go back to how we even got here, it's just more, I see an infrastructure in this game that someone could do something like special with, that because it won't, like, you can make the game I want and sell GTA 5 numbers, right? But you could use like the GTA 5 base to do something special. But then again, like that goes into a whole host of other things and whatnot.
I've never done this, and I don't know what I'm doing. Both
Yeah,
in,
I don't either.
both
You
in
have
real
to
life and the game. How far would you have to drive with a hooker before they'd start to get suspicious?
I have no idea. I don't ever want to know.
You want to take a guess?
Nope.
If you're a hooker, or if you've ever had a hooker,
No,
tell
no,
in the comments.
no. That's how we all go to jail for like solicitation.
Why would I go to jail for that?
Because fucking crime hates poor people.
That's true. I don't know what I'm doing. No, I was going back to it. Is that your?
Oh wait, no, you were good. You're losing money right now.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this is just for her time. I just
Oh,
assumed.
maybe.
I just assumed it would take my health back. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you should just get out of the car. I think you should leave the situation. You're
Why?
wasting her time.
Oh shit! Check that out. Hold on, wait.
Don't kill her.
Why?
Because you don't need to commit violence against women.
That's true. It's my man. There's a flamboyantly gay character in Dragon Quest XI, which is pretty nice. It's
Got to
interesting.
see diversity.
It's for JRPGs. That progress has moved so goddamn slowly. It's like
What was the big diversity issue this week in video games? Oh damn, they are fucking her
whoa!
up.
What the hell? How did this even happen?
Undercover cops? I don't know.
I couldn't save her.
Wait. Well, yeah. What was the big thing in gaming? Something happened in gaming this week, or maybe last week. Oh, Boogie. We're not
Boogie?
gonna talk about him.
What's Boogie?
The Boogie, the big fat guy. He's not fat no more.
This means literally nothing to me. What are you talking about?
He's a big Boogie 2988.
Okay.
The YouTuber. He
Okay,
he
yeah.
had a bunch of
Can we talk
he had a
for
bunch of garbage.
No. Can we talk for a second? Your descriptions of things and people are some of the worst I've ever heard in my life. Here's me not understanding something. You just go, hey, it's like the Boogie, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is.
No, because I'm trying.
No, listen. And then so you said I don't know what that is, and you go Boogie, and you said it 2 more times. And then you go Boogie 2999, as if the numbers were going to be the reason I didn't recognize it.
Because that was his
And
YouTube
then-
name.
Until you finally said YouTuber. I'm like, okay, now I know what his occupation is, so I at least have a vague idea what the fuck you're talking about. You just repeat the same thing over and over, and then finally, after dragging it out of you, will be like, oh, he's this. Thank you. That's what I was asking in the first place. Do I have to
Okay.
specifically be like, what is that, for you to get it at this point?
Yeah. But do you know Boogie the YouTuber now?
I don't.
He's he's like the big famous guy. He's fat. He makes rant videos. He tries to appear as a moderate. I would have thought like you were all over this shit because like
why
you're
would I be on this?
because you're a YouTuber in the community. I think like I don't know you'd interact or watch one of his shit. Like I watch his shit by accident all the time.
I've literally never heard of him.
Is it bougie? I don't think it is. He's like a big fucking deal, and I don't even care about him.
I'm really not,
But yeah, he's
I'm
a
really
piece of
not
shit.
into YouTuber culture in general. I had to look up Logan Paul so many times before I realized who the fuck he was.
Oh, 2988. This motherfucker.
I have literally never seen this person in my life.
Really? He's in the upper echelon of YouTubers. Like he's up there with PewDiePie.
That can't be true.
He's making a good living off of it.
Oh my god, he's almost at 1 billion views.
Yeah, so
How have I never heard of this man in my life?
he's always
He's got 4.5 million. I'm not even kidding. Like I I've literally just never heard of him until right now. I have to clarify this because earlier today I fucked with chat by saying I'd never heard of Scooby-Doo. And this is coming back to bite me because I've literally never heard of this person, and it's like some people are like not going to believe me.
Yeah, I don't. I'm having a hard time believing.
I've never seen this person in my life. They've never interacted with anyone I watched. Nothing.
You were living in. I'm sorry. I'm taking you out of your ignorance and into the light.
So give me the scoop. What's going on here?
Okay, so what do we call it? I think it was at a riot. So do you remember Kotaku a couple of weeks or maybe a month ago? I don't know. Internet time moves so fast nowadays. I don't know what day is which. That Kotaku published this big report about Riot Games and how they're sexually harassing all the women up in the workplace.
Yeah.
So at I think it was a League of Legends thing. They had a panel, but at the one of the panels was women of color and like people of color and no straight white dudes, or no men in the panel or allowed to attend the panel. It was just for those people to talk.
That's odd. I sort of support it, but at the same time, I'm like, if you don't let them in, that's just gonna make a bigger fuss about it. If that makes sense.
Nope.
No,
I understand your viewpoint. It's wrong, but I understand it.
No. That's what I'm like torn. Like I fully support it, but that's gonna draw such a shitstorm because the type of people that they're excluding are the biggest whiny cunts in the world. Where it's like, oh, you think that women and the women can have their own panel? And it's like I would not want to listen to a single goddamn one of them.
Yeah,
so I fully support them. And they're definitely in the right, but I'm just like, that is a shitstorm I would not put myself upon.
So he goes on. He makes a tweet. Oh yeah, he also a little flashback. No. He's one of those dudes who sees himself as a centrist, and like he's.
First of all, there's no such thing as a centrist. There are rich moderates. There are rich, social or what is it? Social liberals, but economic
fiscal. Oh God.
There's those which are also just Republicans. There's no such thing as centrist. I'm sorry, it doesn't exist. There's uninformed Republican or Democrats. There's nothing in between. You just haven't learned enough about the situation to take a stance. That's what, or you not taking the stance is a stance. And
well, this is what he claims.
Okay,
I'm allowing him to tell himself.
That was my rant on centrism and moderates.
Oh,
what?
You should just start a fight and then you just drive over everyone, but no one's freaking out.
Is this or is this not starting a fight?
This is ending a fight. But what was I gonna say? This motherfucker, he blamed Charlottesville with the neo-Nazis on Anita Sarkeesian. I'm guessing you also don't know who she is?
Vaguely sounds familiar.
She's the chick. She made the feminist frequency video. She whatchamacallit? She was like, hey, maybe video games are sexist. Let's talk about it. And then all the that's how Gamergate pretty much started.
And then all of the snowflakes who lash out against safe spaces.
What is this camera angle?
All of the anti-snowflakes snowflaked it up. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. And so he was just like, yeah, those people in Charlottesville died because people like Anita Sarkeesian who are rushing and forcing social change instead of waiting patiently and allowing things to change naturally. And I'm like, damn, dog.
Am I supposed to destroy this? What am I?
Yeah, you're supposed to destroy it.
No. I don't have anything to destroy it with.
Shoot the gas tank. Shoot the gas tank.
I mean, there's one gas tank. Oh my god. This seems excessive, sir.
Oh, there's a red tank. There's a red tank over there, so you can just park them all next to it.
I have different concerns right now. I'm being shot
This is
at.
true.
And a lot of big burly men are trying to attack me.
God, look at this lock-on system. What the fuck?
Here's what I love. If you're running away, you can't shoot. Because it's just like, it's too realistic. Like, look. Actually, hold on.
You should get that car next to it, so that way it sets off all three.
Look at.
What the fuck?
I know. It's weird.
It kind of looks like Wanted, though. Like, you're just turning around and the bullets are curving. Oh, actually, there's one over there, but I think you should still get that tank next to it. Oh my god. I forgot
I'm
how.
right up next to it. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. I have business
But
here.
oh, nice job.
Did that work? Nope.
I think that.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, I think you're all set now. Now you just got to drive it and like, oh, it's on fire. So.
Good news. Good news. Oh my god, not good news. Man, the timer to explosions are a lot shorter back then.
But yeah, Boogie Bob Thornton, he got upset. It was like, I support women, but you shouldn't have these panels and then call men man babies for being upset that they weren't invited. I'm like, dog, this
You
ain't
should
it.
absolutely do that. What are you talking about?
He's just
That was my first reaction, is that people would bitch and moan that they weren't invited.
It's true, and he's one of those people.
Like, what
Same.
they're discussing doesn't concern you. It's about you. Like,
Oh, yeah. So do you want to talk about Colin Kaepernick getting the billions by Nike?
you don't like Colin Kaepernick, right?
I like Colin Kaepernick. I love Colin Kaepernick. I hated the rest of the players in the NFL
Oh, right.
because they let their man get fired.
So, I want to talk about something that I feel like most people are not going to talk about because that's too sensationalized of an issue.
Is it about this child labor?
No, everyone's talking about that. All the like contrarians are talking about that. Where it's like, shouldn't we be boycotting Nike? And Eliana posted something like that. And I was like, Eliana, you're right, but let's talk about
Not right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're right, but we gotta focus up. One issue at a time. I feel like racism is slightly easier to fix than child labor in other countries, as strange as that sounds. So, no, yeah, it was, so, what I'm trying to figure out is, why would Nike do this? I'm suspicious more than anything.
Oh, how else do you get like all the people who buy their shit to come buy their shit? You know?
But that's what I mean. It's like, they're a big enough company where...
you could just shoot the red tank right now.
I just feel like they're a big enough company where they didn't have to do this.
Yeah, but kudos to them for doing it.
I know, I agree, but why? Nike's a huge business. They're not doing this for goodwill.
Yeah, but I don't care.
I do care.
Why?
There's something at work here, and I want to know what it is.
Because the NFL isn't going to do shit about it. They're going to make all their money back. They're not going to get... Like, all the people who are like, I'm not going to watch the NFL because the whole racism thing, now it's just like, all right, cool, bet, don't worry. We got Colin Kaepernick, so why don't you buy our shit still? Now we don't have to worry about the NFL contract. Like, I understand you should be wary whenever it comes to any corporations, but like, I think Nike got your back on this one, my man.
So my biggest
Just
thing is
do it.
I'm real glad that they went with this side. It would have been really awkward if I had to be on the boycott side. Like,
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do?
There's no fallback. I don't have a backup plan.
Why don't you just take that thing and then just drive it?
I'm trying.
off-
There's a lot of people trying to pull me out of cars and shoot at me.
Damn dog, I can't relate.
Literally can't. This dude's
You know
just
me,
standing here.
I'm a peaceful wallaby. Oh wait, it's on fire. I think. No, that's just the light.
My only response to that is, all right,
It makes sense.
I guess. If that's what we're going with.
I doubt it.
All
Try
right.
the Bobo Pete it.
Do you want to talk about... That is such a specific New England reference. My Baba Pink is top of the line.
Oh, there you go. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Well, I was trying to... Oh, God. No!
Whoa! Hey!
That almost went real bad. It's like trying to drive a car or jump out of a car and then it being up a hill and rolling back on you. What was I going to say? Do we want to talk about the racists burning the shoes on their feet and then going to the hospital?
Hilarious. I love when bad things happen to racists. That was the dumbest shit in the whole fucking world. How you gonna buck up your own shit? You own that. Just don't wear it.
Can we talk about how small-minded the opposition clearly is here? It's
They're
like...
not.
No, they are. Because it's literally like, their instinct is like, Colin Kaepernick bad. Nike like Colin Kaepernick. Burn Nike. And it's like, why is Colin Kaepernick bad? Because disrespect
He
flag.
disrespected the flag.
Okay, why?
And the troops.
Why?
And the troops.
Why was he doing that? Colin Kaepernick bad. Not during football. Football sacred. God sacred. Flag sacred. America.
You're painting them as a like they're legitimate. They legitimately believe police brutality is not wrong.
Oh, you think I'm portraying them as stupid, but you think they're malicious and evil.
Yes, like they legitimately are like, no, that's what a police officer should do if you do not listen to them. They believe capital punishment is okay if you do not listen to a police officer. It's a very warped thing. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying like
that people seem to have mysteriously forgotten about the court system when it comes to cops. Yeah. Where it's just like, nope, instantly they deserve the death penalty.
Exactly.
They ran from a cop. They do not deserve a trial at all. It's over.
And he feared for his life. Like
this man who got C's and D's through high school and then took 21 weeks of training is therefore as a licensed executioner.
Like, I think we get too comfortable in the discourse. Yeah, the discourse about racism, of painting these people as dumb when most of them aren't dumb. They're very smart. They know what they're doing. They just do not care. There's like
I would still say that qualifies as a form of ignorance.
Yeah, but like Richard Spencer has a degree from Duke, and Duke is a good university.
No, it's not. Remember what we discovered? That Duke has some real racist ties. Remember the one I uncovered that in my Civil War research?
Yeah, but that's like any university.
Can I talk about this, please? Because I feel like I blew the fucking lid off something, and there's no way for me to get this out there.
I mean, you could just work in higher ed.
No. I just mean like. So, when I was taking U.S. history for my online class, I had to. There was a lot of like shit that I had to research. There was one particular primary source document that I had, which was of a slave owner who left his plantation, left the slaves there, but he ran away because the war was like coming closer to his plantation. He came back 2 years later after the Civil War was over, found his former slaves still working, now freed, now being paid for their shit, because like that was the law now. So, and he was just like, I just don't understand how they don't realize this is bad, and that why can't we go back to the tradition of masters being nice to the slaves and the slaves being kind to the masters, the way it always used to be. And just like this weird, crazy, warped view of like how slavery was, and just like legitimately believing them to be less than human. And I was just like, it was literally like, it was exactly like you're saying, where it's like he wasn't dumb. He was very eloquent in the way he was saying it. It's just what he was saying was abhorrent.
Yeah.
And but then I was when I was trying to find, so I was trying to cite that primary source because I had it in like one of my textbooks, but I was trying to find the original source because I didn't want her to be on my trail of me not using actual research. Literally, and so as I was Googling it, I found his name came up as he was a founder of one of the fraternities on Duke, and I was like, it was either
yikes.
So he was like literally a founder of like one of the big fraternities, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh, well, they must bury this, right? They must be like, okay, let's just distance ourselves from the racist slave master. And it's like, no, they pride themselves on it. They're like, I forget what his name was. I want to say it was like Lewis. I can't remember it. It's in. If someone truly wants to go look, they can go back and I can go back and find it. But it was like it was like our founder, this man, he's founded this in this year, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're celebrating this dude? So then I went to their website and I looked at the biography of him, and then I compared it to the Wikipedia entry. It was the exact same, but instead of it being like, it was their version was like he served as Attorney General during the Civil War, and then I went on Wikipedia. It was like he served as Attorney General to the Confederacy during the Civil War, and it was just like, and it was something else where it was like
they're just casually doctoring history.
Literally, just like they would just slightly remove everything that was like could be taken racist, and they were just like just slightly altered it, so it was like, oh no, this dude's fine. And I was just like, they still tout him as like the founder of their thing even today. I'm just like, what the fuck? How does this happen?
I mean, yeah, you're right.
It's just like it's such a crazy.
It's like whatchamacallit. So a nice parallel is like how people hate college athletes and don't want them to get paid, and it's like you only don't want college athletes to get paid because you're not get paid because you're racist, and like that's literally the fact. Like all the research points to like you're racist.
Like, give more examples, just because like I don't really follow this. I just like
Okay.
for me, it was an ignorance thing where it was like, why shouldn't college athletes be paid? And I was sort of like, I didn't know they weren't paid.
Oh,
I just assumed they were paid, and then like it got worse where I was just like, the more I learned about it, the more I was like, oh my god, like
So the NCAA, the most evil institution in higher education,
the NCAA stands for.
National Collegiate Association or something. I forget what it's called. Just know it as the NCAA. For those who, for Maz, like, and the other like 3 British people. So America's odd. We have a setup of you have your professional sports, so your NFL, your NBA, your MLB, etc., etc. And then you have our collegiate sports. And these people are amateurs. So because they're amateurs, they are not entitled to any wage incurred by what the league makes off of them. The NCAA is a $1 billion industry and does not pay the players.
So put this into a more legible, not this saying you're not explaining it well, you are. But like, think of March Madness, think of how big college basketball is. Now think of every single goddamn player in every single team, no matter what place they get into, not being paid a goddamn cent. Despite them working their goddamn asses off, and no doubt tanking their grades, even though the education at that point
we'll get into that.
Probably not their biggest concern.
It's like if the World Cup happened and no one got paid.
Yeah, essentially, it really gets that much
future,
publicity. Think about every commercial. Everything
during that month,
everything going into that, and how none of it is going to the players, and it's just going to the team owners, the schools.
Oh, wait for it. So, again, back to comparison. Say for the World Cup,
in the 90s. Sorry.
Imagine your hope
September 14th,
in life, right?
Season 5.
Your hope in life is to do well in March Madness, so that way you can get drafted by the NBA. The biggest horror that happens is. Imagine you do really well in the NBA, the March Madness tournament, but you get injured, and now you can't play for an NBA team. So, again, back to how fucked up this is. Kids are generally like the priority for these organizations, and this comes down to their recruitment materials, is to focus on low-income students who are looking to do exceedingly well at either football or basketball, so that way they're completely focused, and who tend to not have strong father figures, so that way the head coach can fulfill that role.
There's no fucking way that.
No, these are legitimately documents. This is legitimate. Like, if you ever listen to a college coach,
I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm saying I want to see those documents to just be like, oh my god, evil does exist, and it's this.
So their entire recruitment strategy is based around these low-income kids, so that way they're like, we'll give you a college degree, and we can get you into we can get you $1 million deals. Now, here's where like, and in your mind you're just like, cool, we're giving they get the full ride scholarship to a university.
Isn't that part of the argument too, where it's like, well, they're getting their entire college paid for?
It's the most bullshit argument possible, right? So, Nick, you were a hardworking college student, correct?
I was a college student, correct.
So, the thing is, I've done research on this, and this is one of the few things in my life where I'm like, you cannot tell me otherwise, sir. I got primary sources.
I am a primary source.
Yeah. What happens is these students, they're not allowed to pick their major. They're picked a major for them.
Whoa. Immediately, I'm like, what? What do you mean they can't pick their major? How is this not one of the biggest choices of their life?
So these kids, they have to whatchamacallit. But this was investigated by the FBI, and also like former pros have spoken about it. There's this one dude who knew he kind of wasn't smart to go to the university he attended for football. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna use this. I'm not good enough to make the NFL. Instead, I'm gonna get I think it was DePaul University or something. I'm gonna go there because they had a good engineer program. It's like I'm gonna be an engineer, and then I'm gonna use that full ride scholarship. And like I don't even care about football. I'm just do enough to keep the scholarship, get my engineer degree, and then make real money. And like after my 4 years and get my college degree, right?
He was leveraging his talents to try and like
yeah.
To try and actually he was doing the opposite. He wasn't. Yeah. He was like trying to leverage his talent to get an education. He wasn't trying to get an education so that he could leverage his talents.
Yeah. His coach came in and was like, you can't be an engineer. The time commitment is too strong. Instead, we're going to make you, I forget, it was like some arts major or some shit. And like he had to take Swahili.
Right, I remember this one, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about this before.
Yeah, North Carolina got investigated for this shit. So what these fucked up institutions do, right? So not only that, like, so you can't take what classes you want. And they give you a bunch of bullshit classes. So things that you act like most of these students take Swahili. They take courses that whatchamacallit. There's no, and I, as someone who like loves liberal arts colleges, but like liberal arts, if you're, this is gonna also sound kind of elitist. If you're smart enough for an English degree, right, you can make an English degree work for you. You can go and get that money, like, but you first have to be passionate about English enough to a degree to be like, I can find a way to make this work. Because if you don't, like, you're just gonna be like, dog, now I have this English degree and I have no actual transferable skills, and I was only there to play football.
So what you're saying is like for liberal arts, what do you call it? Degrees in general, it's like you have to know, you have to be like specifically passionate enough about that specific thing, not just be like, oh, I'll take this because I'm like a passing fancy, or because it's easy.
Exactly, and they fuck them up around this way. They have to, they generally work out 2 times a day, starting at like 6 a.m., most universities, and then they end around like 10 p.m. So when you're not in class, you're working out, and then you have like your tutoring sessions, big quotation marks around there, where you have to maintain your GPA. But the problem is, what happens to a lot of students is you're taking these bullshit courses, whatnot. You're not actually focusing on, like, you were a 19-year-old kid, right? Who's a big celebrity on your campus who comes from an impoverished background. I'm sorry, Nick. If I told you, hey, if you can focus on this 4-year degree, you could maybe make $50,000 a year, but you'd probably be better off. Or if you really just focus on your football, day in, day out, you could get $1 million contract from the NFL and live your hopes and dreams and give your mom a new house. What would you focus on, Nick?
I'd be like, how did you get in my house? But I mean, yeah, no, it's an obvious question. It's a rhetorical question. It's
and these programs, these these programs make millions of dollars off March Madness and whatnot. And you can get kicked out of playing NCAA if, like, let's say, because you're a broke college student, again, these kids aren't getting paid. So you're like, you know what? I know I can do for quick cash because I'm a star player. I'm going to sign some shit and sell my autograph, right?
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say sell drugs. I don't know why.
No. Okay, yeah.
I thought we were going to have an argument about why
before that,
why you shouldn't be allowed to sell drugs.
Yeah, I know. But, like,
only to small children.
If you were a celebrity, Nick, would you sell your autograph? To people, to the adoring fans, the hundreds of thousands of adoring fans that you have, and like you could sell it for.
I give them nothing. I would sell my nothing for money. That's how I do it. But no, I see what you're saying. It's
so they cannot sell their likeness or license their likeness to anything, because then they would be considered professional athletes and they would get kicked out of the NCAA.
Isn't there also a clause with the video games too?
Yes, so that's why you haven't seen the NCAA game come out in a while, because one of the basketball players sued the NCAA because he's like, you've used my likeness and my image, and yet I have no, like, I can't copyright that and I can't use that, but somehow you can make a profit off the NCAA game, despite that's me in the fucking game.
Yeah, I thought specifically college games, like, despite there being like well-known athletes, you weren't allowed to use their likeness.
No. The players just look like them and have all their stats.
But they can't use their actual names.
No, so it's like number 12.
That's the dumbest fucking thing. Oh, it's so frustrating.
And they sell jerseys in the bookstore with their the players' last names on them.
At the schools?
Yeah, and then whatchamacallit. Oh, can't use that. You can't sell your jersey to the universe. You can't sell your jersey on campus because that's a violation. Of being a professional.
Wait, so hold on. So they'll sell their own they'll sell jerseys in the
Yes.
store, and they can't sign their own jersey.
Nope, they can't sign their own jersey. They can't sign posters with them on the fucking sheet. They can't.
I'm getting very
For
upset right now.
for any of these things, you can get kicked out of the NCAA. How they like, and then you have whatchamacallit. So in most states, the public official who gets paid the most money is the college football coach, who tends to make around $2 to $12 million, depending on how big the program is. Yeah. So the way they kick,
why?
the way they kick that is the booster. So the alumni, they pay money to. Oh fuck, that's infuriating. And they get most of the whatchamacallit. They pay for most of the salary, not the university. But still, if the dude who's just in charge there to tell me like, hey, this is how you do that thing, but I'm the person doing that thing, is making $2 million, and I'm just like, hey dog, could you just like throw me like $10 so I can get like a burrito from Chipotle? That would be a violation of NCAA rules, and you could get kicked out.
Wait, they can't give the players any of the money, like
Nope.
even to loan it?
Nope. Because I would consult as a gift, and you can't do that because you've now used your likeness as a professional.
There's some. This is some. I don't want to swear because, I don't want to give the wrong impression. But this is some malarkey. Is what it sounds like.
It's just always interesting to me because, like.
So what are the arguments against paying them?
So arguments against paying them is that they get the free education, and then then that's the argument. And then my argument is, and also that it will ruin amateur sports if we pay them.
How would it ruin amateur sports?
Because now they're going to be like the NBA, where the players are lazy because they get paid so much money.
What?
Yes. These are legitimate arguments. And they are super racist. I forgot that you lose all your weapons when you die in this game. But yeah, it's the most bullshit thing in the world. And also predominantly white sports, so like hockey and baseball, you are allowed to get an agent, so someone to negotiate with the university and like once you declare for the draft, people to talk to those teams. But in the NBA and the NFL, you are not allowed an agent because if you do, then you're professional. So come draft night,
it's like specifically, it's not even like it's like across the board sports. It's like specifically, it's
the ones with all the blacks. The ones with all the blacks.
What the fuck?
And this isn't even talking about the player impact aspect of it, where it's just like, so like obviously not every kid in college sports goes on to play professionally.
What?
But now all these kids are like, you can get, so if you don't play well enough, the university can take away your scholarship. Like if you just.
They have, like, what fallback would they have? It's like literally, how could you focus on your fucking schoolwork if you're literally like, if you play badly enough, we'll take away the money, and then you can't focus on the schoolwork.
Exactly. And also, like,
this is basic logic. It doesn't take like.
Nick, you were a poor guy in college.
I'm still a poor guy.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine trying to perform sports well while you're starving. That's what I always think about. Just like I can hardly perform schoolwork, my actual work, when I'm hungry, let alone I'm starving and I'm supposed to play basketball.
I literally had a moment where, when I was doing all that schoolwork, I was like hungry and I was like, I literally can't continue more. I need to go get food. I don't want to. I'm in the zone. I'm writing well, but it's like I literally can't focus. And I was just like, I couldn't imagine some of the time. Like, I budgeted my time fairly well towards the end. But I was like, I couldn't imagine doing this while I'm tired and having to eat and stuff like that, and needing to eat. And it's just
And then like another fucked up thing. Let's say you suffer a career-ending injury. Guess who just lost their scholarship?
It's a good thing they don't pay them. Otherwise, they might be able to have a quality of life.
And then like people will also negotiate like it'll fuck up the competitive balance of college sports because like all the schools with money will get all the best players like they do now, and then like how are we supposed to? How is that going to help the competition? I'm just like, just say you fucking hate black people. It just makes this whole thing easier because like there's no one's there's like the only sport athletes who get any benefit of going to college are the like the fuckers who play golf and like softball, who all also tend to predominantly be white people, and so no one's like really like, you shouldn't be lazy right now. You shouldn't take your time off.
What's strange to me is that it's not like it seems to only affect the biggest sports, where it's like if these people have a potential to eventually make money, then they therefore don't deserve to earn money now.
Yeah,
which is just very backwards.
It's just weird to me that like if you're the 1% of your field, right? Why shouldn't you make money on what you do? Like if I was the 1% of anything else, like if you're the motherfucker who comes up with Facebook, everyone will be like, yeah, you should get some money off of that. But what you would call it? If you're a student athlete, no.
That's your own fault. Shouldn't have been an athlete. Should have been better.
Granted, then you get like there's one coach, the coach of Kentucky. He does this thing called one and done, where he only gets players who are good enough to really start in the NBA. So there's another fucked up rule. So for the NBA and the NFL, you need at least one year in college to be able to declare to play for the NBA or NFL. Isn't that a little fucked?
Wait, what happened? Hold on.
So after LeBron, they passed the rule in the NBA that you have to play at least 1 year of NCAA basketball if you're a United States resident.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. Why? Did LeBron do it without going to college?
He went from high school to the NBA.
And now there's like rules that stop that.
There were multiple people who did it, but their argument was like, well, it'll help players develop and whatnot. Instead of, really, it's just like, LeBron was good enough. Kevin Garnett, Kobe, they were all both like top players who were like, you know what, dog, I'm going to just make some fucking money instead of futzing around and like, I'll play 1 year at Duke and then declare for the draft. But now every basketball player in the United States who has hopes of being in the NBA, you have to play 1 year of college basketball and hope you don't sustain a career-ending injury, and then you can start making money. America. I don't know. And then there's the people who are like, let's stick to sports. Don't talk about all the other fucked up parts about sports.
Oh, yeah. Where it's like, listen, I just want to watch a game. I don't want to know what goes on beyond the game.
Yeah. And I'm always just like, no, how you just not going to care about why are those people down on the ground?
Because they got too close to helicopter blades. I don't know how to get up.
Yeah. Hold X?
No, Thanks. Let me just casually go through this window then.
Oh.
Yeah. We've come to a dilemma here.
Go up higher.
I mean, there's one on that floor I need to get to.
Maybe you can try to descend like at the top.
The camera is also now fucking me.
At least someone's fucking you.
Wow, rude.
The fuck? How the hell do you get in there?
This is the highest I can go, by the way. For whatever reason.
This game sucks.
You think?
Game of the year.
How's this nostalgia working for you?
If anything, it reminds me of simpler times.
I hate you.
Oh yeah, I also got stuck in Darksider, so I don't think I'll be able to finish it before Spider-Man. And also, Juliana is a little.
Is your girlfriend weirdly not okay with you taking a weekend off to play a game about Spider-Man?
She's okay with it. She's just not thrilled about it. Like, she recognizes that like we need our time apart and whatnot and all that like healthy shit. But she's more just like, I wish you were doing it like to go hang out with your friends instead of sitting in your apartment by yourself to play a video game about Spider-Man. And I was just like, the way you're making it sound is like I'm not an adult. She's like, you sound like a 13-year-old boy. And I was just like, I'm a very mature 13-year-old boy.
Just be like, I'm a 13-year-old man.
I'm a 13-year-old Spider-Man. Excuse me.
So during that time, are we going to be in like voice chat because we're both going to be doing the same thing, just playing Spider-Man, or
I'm down.
Do you want a solitary experience? Maybe that'll make maybe that'll make her feel better. It's like, well, at least he was talking to someone.
Oh yeah. If this video comes out still in the month of September, shout out to John Barnett. If you're still paying for PlayStation Plus, I recommend you picking up Destiny because I remember you liking Destiny, and now this is a method for us to play Destiny.
I don't know if it's supposed to.
It's PlayStation Plus this month.
No, it's different. Do you remember how Black Ops was like a special one?
No, this is the entire month. They put in the PlayStation blog.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, do you remember how Black Ops was like special?
Yeah,
it's like they released it early or separate.
Yeah, but that was
so was Destiny 2. Like Destiny 2 came up before Tuesday, so I'm not sure if that means it's up sooner.
I'm gonna just tag John and be like, "Hey, pick it up on."
John has not been watching the channel as much. He's got busy. He's actually working at work.
Yo, that shit's fucking trash. They made me start trying to do that. I was like, "Excuse me? Excuse me?
Do you know who I am?" It sucks. I got 2 minutes because I spent time just fucking around outside.
It is the dumbest shit in the world trying to make me work. Why? What did I do wrong?
I have learned that, where it's like, you are not a hard worker.
I am competent. That's what saves me.
So do you follow this line of thinking? Because I feel like you would. When I worked, this is not comparable because you've worked real jobs, but when I worked at the store, they would. I worked with someone named Nancy, and Nancy got upset because they would always ask her to like do something, and then she would do it, and then that would just be like that would just like become a thing she had to do now. Like, she would do, like, a favor, and then they'd be like, all right, well, now Nancy does this. And she hated it, because it just got more and more workloaded onto her. I never did that. Anytime they're like, Nick, can you do this? I would do it so goddamn bare minimum, if at all. And I just, like, didn't want any wiggle room. I was like, no. Listen, you are not going to ask me to do this again. Because, trust me, it's just not going to work out. So when they give you extra jobs to do, are you like, do you just flat out go like, no, that's not my job description, or do you just do it badly, or are you just like,
no, I always do my job well, right? You'll never hear me like, whenever they ask for volunteers to do something, I'll never put my hand up. I'm not going to go above and beyond. You don't pay me enough to go above and beyond. and I told them, like, so we have to do this week like extra programming in the evening, and the first like, and there's like, oh, are there any questions about the program? And I put my hand up immediately. I'm like, you have me working 2 hours on Thursday, so am I taking off 2 hours on Friday? and they were just like, no, we're just tacking it on. I'm like, okay, cool. I won't work 2 hours on Friday. I got you.
So you're just like, no, you're not doing that.
Because I'm just like, you're not going to... Why am I giving you extra of my time that was not actually dedicated to me, right? And now a couple of my coworkers... Because I did tell a couple of my coworkers, I'm like, maybe we should think about unionizing. Because I'm like, it's getting a bit ridiculous that I'm the only person who at every staff meeting, whenever they tack us on with extra work, I'm always just like, so what's the kickback for me? Because this isn't in my contract and I'm doing this, but like, I refuse to be the hardest working person in the department or the university. I refuse that. You don't pay me enough to be hardworking. Like, you pay enough for me to work, but not hard work. If you wanted me to work hard, you'd have to pay me $1 million.
Is that all?
Oh, you'd have to give me full benefits of the Lamborghini.
Would you like straight up, not to make this racist, but would you like straight up go, yes, master?
No, I only do that shit when they try to. I only do that shit when they try to give me work and not pay me.
I know. I was like, I know for a fact you've done that before, where they're just like, they'll try to get you to do something extra, and just be like, yes, master.
I'll do it to the other black people. I won't. I can't do that to my white boss because that'll start a kerfuffle.
A kerfuffle.
But it is bullshit. And like, I don't know. These people are stupid. And like, I always talk to my coworker. Like, I wanted this job. We hired a friend of mine, and she, first 2 weeks of working here, she's staying in the office late. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And she's just like, because I want to work. And I'm like, but why? Why would you want to do that? That's it's disgusting. Keep that away from me. And then like, I told my RAs on like the first day, I was just like, I hate hard work. Don't ever make me work hard. If you ask me to do something, I'll probably do it at my leisure. Pray it's your day that day. That's all I can tell you. That's the best advice I can give you. And they were just like, haha, Carlos, you're so funny. And then they worked with me for a week, and it was like, wow, you really do not care. And I'm like, you do not pay. There's not enough money in my bank account to tell me, like, dog, maybe I should sell out. Maybe I should give 2 fucks about my job instead of the half a fuck I give sometimes. Like, I caught myself the other day giving a fuck, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
You also are not company loyal.
Oh, no,
which
never.
That's
disgusting.
It's weird. My first reaction was to be like, wow, you really don't. And then like I caught myself because I was like, why would he be? Why would you have to be? There's no reason to be.
If it was up to me, I'd change jobs every 6 months just so I can negotiate for a higher salary each time. Get the fuck out of here,
But no, yeah,
someone was talking about like, whatchamacallit, like, I'm gonna ask for a raise, but I'm like, so Juliana, she had to ask for a raise, and she asked for something reasonable. I'm like, you asked for a reasonable raise? Every time we start a discussion about like salary, I always go $80,000 on the table right now, and I'm like, and there was like, Carlos, you know that's not on the budget. I'm like, I'm willing to negotiate down, but I just want you to know I'm setting my services there. I'm willing to go down, but you don't know how low I'm about to go before I take my service off the table. Like, tip to everyone listening to this: if you ever have to negotiate your salary, shoot for the stars. Because what are they gonna do? Say no, and then you'll come back? Because worst comes to worst, you said yes to a lower salary than you actually thought, and now you're making less than Kyle, who's doing the same amount because he had the balls to say, you know what, you're gonna have to run this money, bitch. My dad. So I told my dad.
I'm not humming to you. I'm humming that I don't have a weapon, so I don't know how I'm
supposed
to.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, how did he? I was like, well, why isn't he shooting? And then I was like, he only got that. But my dad, he was just like, sometimes money isn't the best thing, and sometimes it's about fit. I'm like, as long as I fit this check.
Not in the workplace. No.
I'm not working with Whitey McWhite to just like for like, I don't make enough money to care about my job, as I've stated for the umpteenth time. And I don't think most people, like 98% of the working class, make enough to care about their job.
What I was trying to segue into is that there's like a weird, like, how anti-corporate is. All right, that works.
Yes.
How anti-corporate is to people, but at the same time, no, come on. He didn't even get down. I got hit him with a fucking nightstick.
People give hometown discounts to people who do not give a fuck about them, and I'd never understand that. Like in basketball.
What I was trying to say is, like, there's in like a culture that where like corporate just like, oh, we're gonna fire you because there's an intern we can hire who's just out of college. He'll do the same thing for less. But at the same time, you're supposed to stick with the company because, I mean, loyalty. But it's like, it doesn't run both ways.
Nah.
And it's a strange, like, parallel where it's like, people will be like, can't believe you're not going to stay with this company. And at the same time, they won't care.
And they won't even put on the pretense that they cared. It's like, hey, man, it's business. You knew what it was. And to my boss, I say that as well.
What the fuck? How is it that easy to bust me?
Yeah, he just hit you with the elbow and was like, you got you, bitch.
I love that they take away your clothing every time you go to as like an extra fuck you.
Yeah, you can't even wear those clothes anymore, Tom. You start from the bottom.
God, these games are broken.
But what was I gonna say?
My friend just sent me a Snapchat where someone sent "fuck me, daddy," and then they responded, "Sure thing, sport."
Good lord. Good lord. You motherfuckers need Jesus.
No, we both we're obsessed with creepy PMs.
Oh.
And like so we constantly send the ones we find. But sometimes it's weird shit like that where it's like someone tries to come up with a response when someone sends a creepy PM unprompted to just throw them off their rhythm.
Yikes. That's just yikes all around.
What is... I want you to try that next time someone's trying to dirty talk. Just like spin it on and just be like, yes, daddy. It's like, okay, sport. It's not even that funny.
It's creepy.
I know, but it's the humor.
The fetish. That fetish is such an odd thing, though.
We
I'll never understand.
We can get to that in a second. But it's like the humor is that the person said "fuck me, daddy" unprompted. So then,
God.
So that's that. Did you not understand that part? It was it was unprompted. So it's like you throw them completely off. It's like, oh, is this is your fetish? Is it still your fetish? Yeah, we've talked about this before, I think, but I do not get the daddy thing.
Yeah, it's weird. Oh,
why do you?
Completely unrelated, but like, no, it's still unrelated.
But pertinent.
It just came to my mind. I saw Three Identical Strangers this weekend, and that movie was fucking wild. Have you heard about it?
No, what's Three Identical Strangers? Also, Movie Pass strikes again.
Yeah. I started just like, fuck it. I'm just going to watch whatever's on Movie Pass. I was actually going to do that today, but I was like, let me go play games with Nick.
You made plans with me yesterday. You were
exactly.
So you're telling me, I know, but you're telling me you were going to be like today, you were like, I wonder if I should go to a Movie Pass. I'm like, is it worth it?
No. I came up with the idea yesterday. I'm like, okay. There's nothing on Movie Pass right now. So Three Identical Strangers I saw on a whim because I was like, I've heard good reviews of it, but I was like, I don't like watching documentaries in a theater because I don't know, for some reason I'm like, that's weird. Why am I gonna? Documentaries are meant to be watched on Netflix with my phone out. So
also, real quick, just wanted to point out, I am playing Vice City
without cheats.
With no cheats. I went to a gun store and I bought a gun.
Jesus.
Get at
Did you get a gun license in this game?
Oh, so I have to get my fingerprints done on Friday. And the only reason they offer fingerprints is because it's for gun license. It's for background checks for gun licenses. And like, I can't wait to have that awkward conversation where he's just like, "So, finally getting a gun, huh, sport?" And I'm just like, "No," because it's a guy I know, and I'm just like, "Nope, couldn't want one less." Actually, I'm gonna leave the country.
So back to Three Identical Strangers. I'm guessing you can kind of key into what the title in the movie's about.
Is it the newest movie in the Conjuring verse with the weird doll and the other shit? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. No. So it's a documentary about these three triplets who found each other despite not knowing either of them existed.
I want to talk about the bullshit that he just escaped me from with.
Yeah, I thought you fucking hit him.
I lit him up. Classic GTA.
Perfect. It's a perfect game. It holds up still. I kind of want to play on my iPhone. You know me.
Oh my god.
I'm glad that they also haven't changed the motorcycles or the drive-bys.
What do you mean?
They're still shit.
Oh, all right.
Oh, wow.
Ah, shit.
Did it?
I like the fucking G-force pulls you off in this game. It's ridiculous. I was gonna say, you sure? You sure? Oh, fucking...
Oh, shit.
Pigs are always
here.
here.
And he shot your fucking...
Pigs are always here to break up the fun.
I remember the first time someone said pigs in a car with me, and I thought they legitimately meant there was a pig in the harbor. And I was just like, where the fuck's this pig? And he's like, no, the cop's right there. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this the 1950s?
Cheese it, it's the fuzz.
Yeah, like, cherry tops are on us. But yeah, if you have the chance, anyone other than John with Movie Pass, I recommend going to see it.
Oh, wait, hold on. I was like half missing it because the mission was just starting.
Yeah, so these
it's about
three
triplets who
didn't know each other existed.
So how do they find each other?
So one goes to college one day,
That's
And
good for him. I'm happy for him.
everyone is like, hey, how's it going, man? How's it been? And everyone's like, we didn't think you were coming back. And he's like, this is my first day. I don't
No
know.
fucking way. That's how he finds out.
And
No goddamn way.
And then the other guy, like the other triplet's best friend, he runs up and is like, I know he didn't come back. So he like ran into his dorm room like, hey asshole, like cool prank that you pulled on me, like great bit. And then he looks at him and he goes, he immediately was like, they were the exact same person and they moved the same way, but he's like, I knew that it wasn't him. And then they both run to whatchamacallit, a payphone. They call the other guy. The two of them have a conversation, and then they both like run into a car and immediately start driving. So they're like,
immediately they were like, "Holy shit!" Which I think is a normal reaction. If you're just like, I'd be like, I've got to see this.
Exactly. So they drive from like the Catskills Mountains in New York. So that's like an hour away out of the city. And this guy lived in Long Island, so they drive all the way through. And this is in the '80s, so there's no map. There's no GPS, so that's the craziest part. That they only gloss over that in the movie, and I'm like, Jesus, man, like this. Please tell me more about this voyage.
It was a different time.
Exactly. I was like, he had to. But anyway, so they show up, and then they're like, the two of them look at each other, and then like they are moving up. The people were telling it like,
don't tell me they did the mirror gag.
They did the mirror gag, but they were both of them were so shocked. They were just like, nah, dog, this is unreal. And so the two of them.
Was there real footage of it, or was it recreation?
No, just photos. Yeah, and there are recreations. And then someone calls the newspaper, and they go, "Hey, it's crazy. These two twins didn't know each other existed, and like both of the people knew they were both of the kids knew they were adopted. So they told each other like, oh, this is where I was adopted." And he's like, "You were adopted? I was adopted there too. My birthday's the same day." And both of the parents are freaking out there. Oh my god, right? So they get in the front page of the paper, right?
And did the parents just be like, there was a third?
No, the third
sees the paper.
Sees the paper in high school, or what? I don't think high school, or he sees it like somewhere around town, and everyone's just like, "Joe, dog, that's totally you." Then he calls them, and he also lives in New York, and he's like, "Hey, I think I'm your triplet," and apparently they all freak out. They go around the country and like they're a big fan, like, look at these triplets that found each other who didn't know each other. And like, of course, the triplets are like,
we have our gloss over that the cops are straight up murdering black guys. The same black guy.
It was the '80s. This is what happened. But whatchamacallit? The kids are like, the triplets are like, yo, this is super dope. There's another person who's exactly like me. This is phenomenal. And then the parents are like looking at each other like, okay, so we all each have a triplet, right? But why do we have a triplet, and why did we not know that there were other triplets?
It's a pretty good question.
Yeah, and that's when shit gets fucking insane.
Oh my god! Wait, you're telling me that there's like an actual like fucking conspiracy going on? It's not just like, because I was just like, oh, what a happy coincidence. That's pretty cool. You're telling me there's fucking more to this story?
So apparently, so they go and they confront the place that they adopted the people from, and they're just like, hey, why the fuck did these kids exist, and why didn't you tell us about this? And they were like, we only told you what we thought you needed to know. That was only it. What? And they claimed they were like, we believe that if we told you there were triplets, like triplets are intense, like a lot of children to adopt, and that's a bit too intense. So we thought all three of the boys would stand a better chance going off individually.
As fucked up as that is, I kind of see that logic. I definitely would never adopt
but
triplets.
Nick, wait.
Okay.
So there was this guy who he was studying triplets and twins, and he was like a journalist, and he was like, he found out that one of the main guys from that adoption agency was this big psychiatrist whose like pet project he always wanted to do was settle nature versus nurture.
No. Oh my god, you're kidding me.
Splitting up twins and triplets to see how they would all turn out, stratifying the income. Like, because one kid went to like a working class family, one kid went to a physician, and one kid was like middle class or some shit. To see how they all turned out. But wait, it gets even worse. They then think like they do more research, and turns out no one ever fully published the study, but what was found was finding out more and more twins and triplets who found each other naturally. They found out that wait, a lot of us, all our adopted parents, also had mental health issues. So now the hypothesis was these motherfuckers split these kids up with mental health issues and did not tell the adopted parents, and were like, maybe you can cure mental health issues, and how this shit would turn out. Well, this shit was fucking crazy. How much do you inherit from your parents and whatnot? I'm that's just a brief synopsis. There were still crazy revelations. Fucking one of them dies, but when it comes on Netflix, I think it'll probably, because CNN financed it, or if it goes on CNN, you got to go out of your way to see it. It was the craziest shit in the world, because it got these kids were being inspected unbeknownst to them by the adoption agency for the study, and they would send people to record them and fucking interview them, how are you learning? What's it like? And they were all...
Wait, so was there documents of the differences?
Not of the differences, but apparently one of the signs was that the triplets all as they grew older all had mental health issues along with other twins. But earlier in the years, a lot of those kids suffered from separation anxiety, and they would beat the fuck out of themselves as toddlers to just cope not seeing your twin or toddler or the other triplet. Which I'm like, dog, you did that to fucking children, and you were like, you know what? We're not gonna tell anybody about this shit. Despite
so there were... I'm trying to grasp this. So there were triplets suffer from real anxiety and separation stuff,
yes,
because biologically they know they're
yes.
separated.
Yes, and also because they spent a couple of days together. Oh, this is the other me.
That's pretty.
And yeah, and all these kids struggled with fucking anxiety.
Did anything come up against the fucks who separated them?
They were all super wealthy, powerful people, and the government kind of threw a smokescreen over it.
Of course.
Yale University has all the records and files, and they have finally just now, this happened through the 60s and the 80s, just now released the documents to those people so that way they can look over the research, because they never published the research. It's ghoulish, because I'm just how you going fucking... I'm oh god, it was so interesting. And then these people, think about it, you meet your triplet later on in life, and you're wow, there's so much we have in common, but also so then these triplets they try to since we're brothers, we're gonna live together.
Oh, I wouldn't have done that.
But it's more
that might have been a little too far.
They were trying to make up for lost time. But think about it. They also met each other at 19. You've kind of set in your ways in some way. If you don't have that sibling, you're just fuck it. I can fuck you. You're a stranger to me. That taxed their relationship. Granted, they for the most part did well until later on in life when they opened a restaurant, and the restaurant did well for a period of time, but then it started going poorly, and that flared up all the other shit. And dog. And also, okay, spoiler, because you're not gonna see this.
No.
One of them kills himself because he suffers from manic depression.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and so one of the other triplets finds him. I'm like, dog, just imagine seeing
you dead.
Yeah, and it's just that's me as a corpse.
I'm sure that wouldn't have any lasting effects.
One of them spent their 16th birthday in a psych ward. It's just all their mental health issues pretty much got flared up because they were just I know that there's something there, but I can't put my hand on it, and I found the other half, and then it still takes time to deal with that shit. But by that point, you're an adult.
That shit's wild.
Yeah, it was just, I was watching that movie, I was flipping, I was like, the fuck? Who does this to children? Who does this to Jewish children?
Well, On that note, we could probably cut recording. We've gone almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we're giving you guys prime content.
So welcome to episode 1 of the Loading Screens podcast.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
I just feel like I feel like we can do a podcast, but we just change games every week, or maybe keep going with the same game. It doesn't matter. But like where we just shoot the shit with something in the background.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Oh, good, it's happening. So I don't care if you're done with it or not. But
all right, cool. I'm just glad that my idea.
What do you mean? I just came up with it.
Suck my fucking dick.
I'm sorry. Do you have proof that you came up with it? In
Oh,
in video form? I don't think
how,
you do.
How dare you? First of all, how dare you?
Good, well, I'm gonna call it loading screen because it's like,
Shut the fuck up.
We have a lot of technical difficulties, but we still riff and have good content. So it's like we should still release it. But I don't want someone to be like GTA, and then there's like 20 minutes of us picking a game. So, yeah, it's a good idea. I think. Thank you.
I came up with this idea, everyone. Do not let the lamestream media.
I don't think he did. I don't think there's proof.
I think there's fucking proof.
Where?
On your computer. I'm gonna subpoena it.
Good luck. It's deleted already.
Oh my god, you're a cunt.
I deleted it because like it wasn't good content that one time we did it. It was 20 minutes of us waiting for Spencer to just eventually say, "Oh, I can't make it." Which is super funny to me, in hindsight, but not at the time.
Well, you've raised a valid point. But it's still my idea. Thank you for giving me the credit for it. We'll see you next time on episode 2 of Loading Screens.
Oh, wait, are you going to make an animation for Loading Screens?
Oh, fuck no. That's John's work.
John doesn't even work for this channel anymore. He does, but he's busy, and it depresses the hell out of me. Hey, remember that game? Remember that GTA game when you couldn't swim?
Granted, I'm kind of I am kind of worried that someone's gonna think that like this is actually just a thing of loading screens of GTA.
I think what I would do is I wouldn't advertise it as GTA.
Yeah, that's true.
I would advertise it as a new podcast, and then they'd watch it. That being said, help me riff until I get to the save point.
Okay, the lovey-dovey shit. Yeah, so don't separate fucking triplets. If there's one thing to learn about this episode, don't you fucking think about it. It's real fucked up.
I think this is a good inaugural episode because we got real hot takes today.
Yeah, today. I hope nothing that bad happens. No, I had my whole stance on labor relations.
You had that. We had the Colin Kaepernick
NCAA.
Thing. We had the NCAA.
What the fuck are we going to talk about next week? I hope something happens.
Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that's true. I legitimately cannot wait for this game to come out.
Can I talk about this for a second as we wrap up? I'm not that hyped for it. I don't know why. I love Insomniac and I like Spider-Man. I don't know why I should be more excited for it.
I want to be like you. I actually legitimately. This is the one time.
I'm pretty good at keeping my hype and shit. Like I'm excited for it. Like in that I can't wait to play it, but I'm not like, man, I fucking need to play Spider-Man. I'm just like, oh, it'll come out and I'll play it.
Like that's the healthy adult way to feel. But I'm also kind of happy that for once I kind of feel like I did in high school and middle school. Like when a big game was coming out, I was just like, dog, like put that shit in my fucking veins. Because I feel like.
Were you putting shit in your veins in high school?
Yeah, you know me, man. Some like games come out, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm excited. I can't wait. Like. When Uncharted 4 came out, like I played it day one, but there wasn't something in the back of my mind like, you know what, dog, let me finish all this work and make sure I can play Uncharted. It was just like,
yeah, like that's what I'm trying to say is like that's how I feel
when it came out. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna play it, and I enjoyed it, right? But it wasn't like I don't know how I'm asleep.
Yeah,
I don't know how to get.
Like I'm gonna play it day one, and I'm excited for it, but like it's not. I'm not losing sleep over it. When Kingdom Hearts 3 comes around, the end of January.
That game is never coming out, so I just...
The end of January, I'm going to be like a fucking trucker. I'm just going to take a bunch of amphetamines because it's like, sleep's not going to come, so might as well steer into it.
I'm really interested in how that game is going to make me feel as an adult. Because I do feel like, oddly enough, Kingdom Hearts is one of the... Despite playing it the majority of it in like high school and college. It
It
will be the
ages.
last. Yeah, but also I feel like it's gonna be the last vestiges of my youth, and I'm gonna finally have to put that to bed.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. We're gonna get fucking deep and shit when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. Like, like I legitimately I was thinking about this. Like, I was listening to some. This is a Janet Jackson song that sounds like something straight out of Kingdom Hearts. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, when this game comes out, there will be no more in my like the youth aspect of it of like I am waiting for Kingdom Hearts to come out. It'll be legitimately like I am an adult. I'm a man. Sora is gonna be. He'll be still in that teenage years. Granted, the story will probably be more mature, but it's like there is nothing from my child like other than like Half-Life 3. There's nothing from my childhood now that I'm like waiting to come to fruition. There's nothing more like there's nothing like Kingdom Hearts where I'm like it's got everything that I would have thought.
There's the only other thing I think compares to it is One Piece, just because I've been following it for like 15 years. But I've had in some of my darker times, there's been a thought where it's been like, you know, Nick, maybe you should end it all. And one of the thoughts to go against that was at least wait until after Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's
Oh god.
That's what I mean. Where it's like there's nothing else in my life that's really that level. Where it's like, no, Nick, Nick, you can't do that. What about X?
It has the right amount of nostalgia and actually still technically being good. That it's just like I legitimately don't know. That is one game I think I'm
Kingdom
legitimately
Hearts
good.
3 is the epitome of hope.
Yeah. In childhood hope and believing that like it's gonna get better.
Man, we are fucked as just a people when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. When it's over, it's just gonna be like so much is gonna be over with it.
I legitimately think it's gonna be the last vestiges of my childhood. Like I don't think I'll ever be able to look at a game with that much hope and without like that with no critical eye.
When you put it that way, I kind of feel the same way, where it's like, I don't know if I'll ever be as excited for a game again as I will for Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't see how it's possible.
Unless something takes this long, but also, like, I will never be invested in a series like I am in Kingdom Hearts.
People complain about how long it's been since Kingdom Hearts 2, but it's like, that hype is carried.
Yeah.
Like...
when we did get games in between, and then we got all the collections, and, like, those games scratched the itch a little bit. It didn't give you everything, but it was enough to just make, like... Again, like the terrible comparisons Half-Life, but like Half-Life 2 happened, right? Episode 2, and then you got nothing. There was nothing. There was Portal 2, which kind of was in the area, but like the only way to scratch that Half-Life itch is if you go and play Half-Life. But now you are only thinking like you now you can fantasize about Half-Life 3 and like what it's gonna be like. While Kingdom Hearts was just like, we are never gonna let you forget that this is what Kingdom Hearts is, but also like every time you create an image of like Kingdom Hearts. Like you need to recognize like this is what it is, and it's weird. Again, like I think that's a game that I'm gonna cry out of. Just it exists. It doesn't have to be good at this point. Like that sounds crazy to say, but it doesn't have to be good. It just has to exist for me.
I think I agree with you, but on the opposite side, I think for Kingdom Hearts,
granted, unless they fuck up the storyline,
that's what I mean. For Kingdom Hearts to be good, it just has to not be bad. It doesn't have to excel. It doesn't have to be the most amazing game of all time. It just has to not be an unenjoyable experience. And that's not as hard of a bar as being great.
I'm looking at this marketing, and like I know it hasn't gone full like marketing spin yet because like they're still working on it. And like come December, I think we're gonna like, get sick of Kingdom Hearts ads. Like, yes, I know this game is coming out. I've been waiting. But like to compare it to like something like Mass Effect 3, oddly enough. Because like Mass Effect 3 was the end of a trilogy, but still, I'm like Mass Effect 3 was just like this is the end, and they were like this is the big whole thing. And you still were like, it's the end. Wink, wink. Like that game ended poorly, and then everyone's just like there was that whole kerfuffle. But I think Kingdom Hearts, oddly enough, because of the way it's situated, it doesn't have to worry about that. Like its fan base.
Here's how they have to.
Like, I still think they can fuck it up.
Here's all they have to do. Just end Xehanort. End it. He's done. You finished, you got him. That's all they have to do. I don't care how many other things they leave open. It's like they got rid of the main villain for good. That's it. You're done. You did what you had to do. I'd like more, But that's how you would keep me from being aggravated.
You can't Assassin's Creed it.
No.
Like, just have a plot,
Stick
terribly
to it.
conclude it, and then like, but then retcon it and not really conclude it, and then continue making games that like, yeah, there were threads there, but we're not ever gonna talk about that.
Here's the thing that people need to accept about Kingdom Hearts. If it does continue after this, Donald and Goofy are gonna accompany some other schmuck on an adventure.
I'm comfortable with that, oddly enough. Like that's one thing I'm like, you know what? I had my time. That was my childhood. Like,
Yeah,
I'll probably still play the new Kingdom Hearts, but
I wouldn't expect much from it.
yeah, if anything, it'll be more of like this isn't for me, but I'm gonna play it and hopefully it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it's like Sly 4.
Unless it's like a Teen Titans to Teen Titans Go situation.
I mean, people like Teen Titans Go, and I know your stance on that.
Children like Teen Titans Go.
No, I know adults who like Teen Titans Go.
You know some very backwards adults.
But whatchamacallit, what was I gonna say? Like Sly Cooper 4 exists. And I know there's some people out there who think it's a good game. I did not like it for the small period of time that I played it.
I watched someone who played through all 4 games back to back and said Sly 4 was the best.
Oh, someone's a racist? Sly 4 is garbage. But like that game was a different one where I immediately picked it up, put it down, and I was like, I'm too old for this, and I do not have the nostalgia for it. And like that'll probably be something that happens with the newer Kingdom Hearts. But also, I'm like, they have the movie properties which kind of help them. Wait, this is how Dragon Quest plays? I'm sorry,
What do you mean?
I knew it was a JRPG and like it's probably turn-based, but like
they for the Western release, they made it so it's active active time sort of, where it's like you see that like red ring.
Mm-hmm.
You can like freely move around there if you want to, and like you can like choose to like attack, but it's still like soft turn-based. So but because I'm a fan of the series, I made it. I went back to the classic look, which is this. I think it's just a little bit better. You can choose to control your party members or set them to go at their own strategy and stuff. I do it because it's quicker. But yeah, it's fast. Like there's not much thought into it except for like bosses.
Oh, turn-based strategy games.
It's crazy to me that you'd never get into it.
Hey,
Fabulous, darling.
it's a thing. It's a thing.
So we were gonna wrap up about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, but like, then I started wallowing about my childhood. Maybe my dad will love me finally.
That'll never happen, and you know it.
But I don't know. There's an interesting aspect of it that I would love, like, for someone to write about and like talk about, like
how Kingdom Hearts is gonna be the end of everyone's youth.
Not that, but more to look at where you began the series and look at where you ended the series, and just like talk about the growth, your own personal growth, and hopefully the growth that we see in this third game with Sora, and just like how that mirrors it. Like I want my ideal Kingdom Hearts series. Like at this point, I'm much older than the intended audience, but I do want Sora to like, and he has grown up since like Kingdom Hearts 1 to 2. He grows up a little bit. I'm hoping
my ideal Kingdom Hearts is full-on sex scene with Kairi and Sora, and then Riku watching. That's all. That's the only thing they can do. That's the only way we can show growth.
You want The Witcher?
I want to see the conception of the next protagonist, or it's no dice.
But I do wish like it would tackle more honestly like Sora's mature. Like ideally, if it was up to me, I'd make Kingdom Hearts 3. This is where Sora like realizes he's an adult and he has to do adult shit.
My hope is that they do
because Kingdom Hearts 1, that's like the whole thing is like, hey dog, you have to leave your little island and you have to grow up, and the world is asking that of you, but like you want to hold on to your friendships, and that's one thing you need to keep fighting for in your life. But Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of gets lost in the lore and turns into a bit of a love story, and
between him and Riku, to be honest.
Yeah, and it doesn't really it doesn't really like stick the landing. Like it's good, and I enjoyed the characters, but I hope like
the problem with Kingdom Hearts 2 is that it opens up to the Kingdom Hearts universe, whereas 1 was self-contained.
Yeah, like and 2 was just like, we're gonna come up with some. We have to explain what happened in that handheld game that you played, and also explain what's gonna happen in this lore. Here's all the lore that you'll ever want in your life,
and some, and then some, and then even
Yeah.
more, and then even more, and all spread across 17 different games.
and I just like. Just focus on the relationships. If my tip to all video game writers is always just focus on the interpersonal relationships on a character, rather than like trying to heighten the scale. 'Cause sometimes you don't need to heighten the scale if you just like heighten the emotional stakes. Not everything gotta be end of the world. Because Kingdom Hearts 1, it was like, yo, it's the end of the world because it's the end of your childhood. That's the symbol right there, bitch.
Well, I do kind of agree with you that Kingdom Hearts, for a lot of young people, it will be the end of something. Their youth, innocence, childhood, everything in
When
between.
Kingdom Hearts 1 had come out, I had never even touched a vagina. I never even.
When Kingdom Hearts 2 had come out, you'd still never touched a vagina.
I had touched a vagina.
In 2006, you touched a vagina.
No, my bad.
Really, Carlos? Because I know, because you were in 6th grade. So
I reframed in my mind. I reframed it as freshman year of college.
that's not even close. No, you were so far away from that.
No, because that's when I played it. So in my mind, I'm like, at that point, yeah, asshole. But yeah. And then when Dream Drop Distance had come out, was that freshman year of college?
Probably around there.
I'd sniffed a vagina, and so,
Oh, that's so fucking weird. Also, Carlos, look, see this thing?
Mhm.
What's it called?
wearing her,
Okay, let me make this bigger for you.
were tiger,
Get
were
it?
tiger.
Wear tiger, because he's wearing the skin,
That's
and it's like a
sketchy stuff.
human tiger, so it's like wear in the other sense.
1 second, I'm getting a phone call.
All right, we're gonna end this. Thanks, Carlos.